Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Justin,
And Max Games.
and we're going to be doing a review of,
Guilds of One Diane.
or better known as Guilds of London. I like the way you say it, though. And I'll just start off by saying that I played this game four times as a two-player game with Mom.
And then
Well, and
then just now with the whole group as a 3-player.
three-player, and it plays up to four, I believe. And
That must be crazy with 4.
it really is.
But then again, there are more tiles coming out.
Yeah, there would be more tiles coming out, just by a little bit. In a two-player game, you don't have the growth phase, so you're not more tiles coming out. Well, just to say that when I played it the 4 times at 2 players, I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a solid game, and the back and forth and trying to score things, and I rated it about an 8 or so. But so you haven't played the 2 players, so I don't think you'll totally get it. But playing at the 3, it shot up for me.
Like, I can see how that, even though I've never played the 2, I can see how it would theoretically be better.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's, more competition. And it's not either you get it or I get it.
And also, not only just the more competition, but things score faster, I guess, because more
I can
people
see
are going
how it
for
would
things.
go up. It's I can just go there for free and get it, no matter what. I'd get the second place thing.
Right, exactly.
Or in this game,
Or you get bumped off or something.
you have to spend a couple guys and have to want to get second, or even try to get first.
Now I'm going to pause it for just 1 second. Now, one of the things I always like doing when rating new games is also sometimes talking about how it's almost like how gaming is an evolution and how there's
Because
interaction.
all games explain other games.
Yeah, exactly. And how there's interaction between games that you might already like. Like if you're not sure, is this a game that I'd really enjoy?
You
I'll
can
show you
see
some other games.
Some other games that have similar concepts, and if you like those games, then you should definitely check out Guilds of
Guilds of London.
Diane.
And one of them is
Citrus.
Citrus. Now you would say this doesn't seem so much like a game similar to Guilds of London, but in Citrus you're also competing around these areas, and then whoever has the most around an area will score it. So that reminds me a little bit of Citrus.
Also, we have Simurg.
Simurg is a game where tiles are coming out, and then multiple people can go on the tiles, and depending where you are on the tile, actually it kind of moves down on the tile. You could be moving down on the tiles, and you could be progressing each turn, and then if there's a certain amount on the tiles, then the tile goes away. But there is a little bit of, I want this, and he's already there.
Maybe I could try to beat him out there.
Yeah, maybe I'll try to beat him out,
But then that would be a lot of resources.
or maybe I'll just kind of hang out there too, and get something. I like that.
And finally,
Actually, there'll be one more that I'm going to bring out on top of this.
not finally.
Not
and
finally.
this game I've actually never played.
Oh, okay. Which one is this? Oh, no, yes, you did.
I have?
Yeah, you played. We only played this game
Oh,
once.
yes, I have played Xena.
Xena, this is an Italian game, and let me just say,
Oh, yes.
yeah, you remember it now. Now, let me just say, I love European games, but Guilds of London is definitely better than Xena. If you had to choose,
Oh.
yeah, it's definitely a better game. But I'm not putting down Xena. Xena is a really, really nice game. But the issue with this game is when you put out a card, in this case, you're putting out people on tiles. In Xena, when you go to a card, you have to ask everybody, would you like to join me here? And people can join you on a card. You're going to get a bigger benefit, but they're going to get some benefit out of it too.
And then in how this game kind of changed that and almost makes it better.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a chance that, hey, I'm also going to go there, but then you're not going to gain any benefit from going there. Or from them going there. You're not going to
I'm not going to gain any benefit from you going there. But in some ways I will.
Because
I might not score the card if you don't go there.
But since you don't announce it, someone might overlook that, and then you get that tile yourself.
Right, exactly. So there's a benefit. I like this idea of sharing benefits and saying, which one is going to be better for me? Getting the tile or just getting the token and what the second benefit
What I feel
is?
like would be an interesting
A
concept.
really good game.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, it's
What I
really
feel like
good.
would be an interesting concept to add another layer
Mm-hmm.
for the person in first place. By every character that they won to first place,
Oh,
an additional
right.
point.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If
How
it's-
much
if
more?
It's 1 and 4, the person gets an additional.
There's a little bit to be said about that, because in this game, whoever gets first place is going to get the first place icon. Whoever gets second, and there's ways of mitigating
Gets a
that.
second place token, which you can score.
But there
and
were a
get
couple
benefits.
times in this game where like Mom had 4 guys on a place, and I just threw in one guy to get the second place one. I could see getting
And
a little
that
bit
should-
more
And then that should give her more points
a differential.
because she gains differential. But if you weren't there, there'd be no differential.
I could see that. I could see that. I like the game as it is.
Yeah, yeah.
There's one other game. Pause. One last one, and then we'll definitely get to this
Yeah.
game.
5 points.
5 points. This is a very little known game.
And it's a great game. You
Yeah.
should go check it out. It's probably pretty cheap because
Yeah, it's an inexpensive game.
and it's very much like Yields of Londian because every once in a while one of the tiles will score, and it's a voting sort of however many people are on it. And
Is it on it, or is it like who's around it?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, there's a little bit of both. I can't
And
remember the
then
game too
also-
much.
Yeah, and then with people around it, like in this case, the mastery people
Mhm.
that are around it, that will influence, break ties,
Mhm.
and it will also influence here if you control surrounding areas.
And you get to put out one of your like your master, I think they call them like bosses or something like this in the game.
it's
Your
it's
big
almost
thugs.
the same. It's the same concept. Really.
There's a lot of same concept in that one. Again, I played this only once. I liked it. I love this.
But
there's
you
a
should
big
definitely check out.
Yeah,
this.
yeah, definitely check out 5
It
points.
is definitely underrated.
Definitely check out 5 points.
check
Definitely
it out.
underrated. It's a quick game. Quick game.
But
Not as
now-
involved.
Let's move on to
Now let's-
Yields of Londian.
Guilds of London, yes. Now, also some things to kind of get out of the way is the iconography.
Yes.
Now, I am one that loves the iconography in this game because it's like reading an ancient manuscript where you have to figure out. There's only a few symbols, and
Because
you could
actually,
read them. Yeah.
like sometimes, like I understand the basic symbols, but some of them where it's like symbols after symbols after symbols, where it's like meeple plus minus slash question mark rainbow.
Amber, and then the arrow with the line at the end of it.
Like like individually I can understand them, but a lot of times having them all like in a row gets a little confusing. And I'm just gonna say this: I don't like when there's text on cards that much, but I think this game does need some text explaining what happened.
Just kind of that's I understand it, and even now I played
Or
enough
even just have the pictures and then just small text underneath,
just kind of
rather
reminds.
than because in order to understand it, we printed this out.
Yeah, this is on Board Game Geek. Someone made a really nice sheet of explaining every single card. Now the game does come with an explanation, but it doesn't cover every single card. And really, when you're playing the game, you want to just look at the cards and say, "This is what I want to do in this turn." Not have to kind of
It's like-
unravel what they
It's
mean.
like,
Max, believe me, by about the third game,
You-
you don't even have to think twice about
because
it.
there's a couple even pretty soon I was able to get most of them.
Oh yeah, you got it immediately.
Quickly.
While Max is looking for a card, just to give an give an idea of sometimes a little bit of the convolutedness of the cards, I'm gonna have to say that again. If you are teaching the game to somebody, start off with just an explanation of the symbols and have a person try to read a couple cards, and very quickly they'll understand it. I think it took you 5 minutes to really understand it, and then
here's
you can
the-
really strategize.
Like here's an example of one of them, and that there's if you see, I actually don't even know what this means.
So this one says, look for a master on a guild type. And when you find, you could choose whichever one, and for as many guilds of that type that you own, you'll get extra cards at the end of the turn. And it's free.
See how we had to pick that apart?
Yeah, it's a
You
little
shouldn't
bit...
be able to do that. You shouldn't have to do that when your hand. You should look at your hand and say, "Oh," instead of
But again, I will reiterate, Max, by the third game, like, I know what this means immediately, and I can just play it and say, all right, at the end of this turn, I'm going to choose
I have
compasses,
no clue.
because I have 3 compass masters, and then I'll get 3 extra cards for that. I understand why some people have a problem with it. I don't. The interesting thing about the game...
But didn't you have a problem with it the first couple?
Oh, absolutely. The first 2 times I was learning them, and, and sometimes I just look at the sheet just to confirm what I already believe, whatever I know.
And then I have to say one benefit about the actual components
Mm-hmm.
is how the player colors don't really clash with the board colors.
Yeah.
You can see them on the board.
I know there's red and red and blue and blue and yellow, but
it's a different tone.
It's a different tone.
It's light blue and dark blue, like kind of like
there's a different
a grungy. I guess.
It's
yellow and a bright yellow.
And also the yellows, they have lots of like, all of them, they're shaded. Let's just put it this
all
way.
All of the colors on the board are shaded. All of these are not, clearly.
Right, and these are not your standard meeples you get in every game. These are nice. Like, they're different a little bit.
They're different shapes a little bit.
They're different shapes, and I don't know, they feel nice, and I really like them. I'm going to do a shout out for the artist and graphic designer for the game, because the game is beautiful.
And they had to individually design every single one of these.
Yeah, because from what I read, these guilds are real guilds in the history of London, but only a couple of the guilds which still exist today allowed the game maker and the artist to use their symbology, that use their and I don't know which ones they are, I think it says in the book. So the artist had to come up with all of these really cool symbols.
This is definitely very realistic. Pineapple.
Pineapple. I think that might actually be one of them. That's the importers. That makes sense. Importers. So they're importing pineapple from the New World to. You have to think of this from the English perspective, right? Golden pineapple. Are you going with it?
Sure.
I don't feel in the theme of the game is very cool that you're doing these guilds. I don't feel like I'm sending out workers to become guild members or becoming masters. I'm matching colors, and I know powers, and you're sending guys to the ship.
You can see the theme, but you don't feel the theme.
I don't feel the theme, and that doesn't detract from the game at all to me. The theme kind of just adds a layer of niceness to it without it being derivative of it.
This is just the other meeple dude, which I wish was used more.
The beetle. Yeah, the beetle always starts on the smallest number
he'll move
tile.
around a little bit.
You can
he
have
helps
cards.
Score tiles, but he just doesn't move around enough. But I do find him, he's a nice meeple, he's a unique meeple, and he's shiny.
And he's shiny. I do wish there was, that's another tiny little thing. I wish he was running around a little bit more.
And then for me, actually, I do like when the theme and the gameplay fit well. That does detract a 0.5.
Okay, so that you don't feel it as much. There's the adjacency. I like in the 2-player game you don't get this. You don't get the build out. You just start with a board and that's it. It's 5x5. In a 3-player game or a 4-player game, it starts with a small core. So you're all fighting for just a few things, and then as the game goes on, you're using this little compass to determine where things go. It starts building out. One of the critical aspects of the game, and I lost the first game horribly, really bad. I was interested in everything going on here, and then going to the ship and getting some points. But one of the things that I really didn't pay attention to much at all during the game were the end game scoring cards, the guild cards themselves, because this kind of guides your strategy of what you're doing in the game.
Because it's I'll get points from that and points from that, but I'll get some extra points from that one. So
these you can really. I got 40, 50 points from. No, I think I got about 40 points from these cards.
As you were laying out 8-8, I'm like,
yeah.
What are we supposed to do?
It's these cards. These end game scoring cards are absolutely essential.
But then the thing is that you most likely got lucky with some of this.
There is an aspect of luck in the game.
Which is why I brought out my next game.
Okay, as a little comparison.
It's actually Takenoko.
Takenoko, very popular, older game.
You think, what's the relation? It is that the scoring cards in this game are in 3 different categories.
Right.
Which I wish these were
3 different categories of scoring.
Choose categories, say, guilds, anything to do with guilds, anything to do with your personal supply, anything to do with this. Just a couple of different categories. So, if you, want one specific, a type specifically, you can get it kind of easier, I guess, instead of having completely random.
You still get a choice of usually 3 or 2, sometimes 5, but you usually get a choice.
It's you draw a card, have no guys in the Guild of London. Line 20 there.
I'll argue this a little bit because this is now becoming just an interesting conversation. There's a game that I just learned. It's called Carpe Diem.
Carpe Diem.
Carpe Diem, a Stefan Feld game. And in that game, the end game scoring cards...
Go watch the review.
We haven't done a review for it, but we will.
Unboxing.
Unboxing it.
Go watch the unboxing, not the review.
The end game scoring cards there, you just draw a card, whatever it is, that's it. You don't have any choice. I like that at least you have a choice. The way I played this game, this last one that I did, I got a couple of those endgame scoring cards early. And you always start with one. And then that drove my strategy Mine was I don't want any adjacency between my masters, and also what was the other one? Oh, getting in second place because the second place tokens
Because
for me.
for me, I actually didn't have a strategy
Mm-hmm.
because all 3 of my endgame scoring cards that I started with
Mm-hmm.
were things that are just going to happen in the last round. Have a certain amount of cards, have a certain amount of guys in the middle, and I'm like, that's definitely a strategy.
Yeah, there's nothing to because that's 15 rounds
there was
later.
nothing I could do.
Those some of those are really hard to get, like a certain amount of guys here, or
no guys.
having your bonus cards equal to your money cards. There's so I think
that's half the cards I got.
well, let me. I think this game is very rich. Oh, and then of course the nastiest part of the game, the neutral livery men.
It's like, hey, we tied. No one gets it. No.
Yeah, you can use characters to bump other people out. There's some meanness in the game. That you can move around using special cards. You can move people in and out. So someone thought they were going to score something, and now all of a sudden they don't. Or they thought they were going to be in first place, now they don't. Or something like that. There are some endgame bonuses for hanging on to these guys, though. Also, the way the beetle moves during the scoring, since you always do things almost like reading a book, sometimes the beetle will help score an area, then he moves to the next highest number.
But then it's some funny
That you have to really plan that
because,
ahead. That's crazy.
Like he's there and he scores,
Mm-hmm.
or is going to score it, and then someone plays a card where he moves. That no longer scores.
Right, exactly, and then it's just sitting there.
It's like, well,
and the way you break
want
ties,
together?
the rules, let me just say, you do have to sit with the rules and go and read them. I read them probably from start to finish twice, just to kind of get a grasp. There's a lot of subtleties in how things occur and how things are moving around in the game.
And also, by the way, this also happens.
This also
Only
happens.
on this occasion, because this happens.
And this is different with the 2 and 3 and 4 player games. And this is a real interesting part of this game. I enjoyed watching other people fight. Like, there were a couple of times that you guys were in competition for a tile. And
like, I'm just
gonna go over here, and no one's gonna bother me. Seems to be, the more I play this game, and I didn't really get it the first couple times, there's a hierarchy of what cards give you. Like, it seems like the red and the green and the blue don't seem to be that great. Or they're fine. It's the yellow and the purple ones get you some really good benefits.
And then this guy can almost never be on purple unless it's moving randomly. Most of the cards that say places somewhere cannot be on purple.
Right, yeah, that's the king's the royal one. And then the whole thing with the ship going out to the plantation tile.
Like, oh, I know. Let's add another board.
Right. You know, another big aspect of this game is that you're going out to the ship tile, and then if you put a whole bunch of people there, you might still win the tile and then leave a guy there. You might have a card, how many guys you get there.
Wait,
you could bring up.
There's a second side?
Oh, he didn't know. Yes, you could choose 2 different sides in this game.
I feel like the side that we played with is better.
Yes, we played with the side where you get the bonus action cards or the bonus of endgame scoring cards. Yeah, he's now a whole new aspect of this game just opened up to him. Just because I
would
knew.
never go there then.
Why? Because you get 7 points though. That's a pretty big bonus. Yeah, you could either play with just points or you could play with.
I'd like to play it again
cards.
with the points. See how that happens.
Right, because there's going to be less than guild cards. The guild cards will only come out of here rather than from here. And you might not. You can play the game where you're. When you score a card, when you score a tile, you get a guild. And to be honest, the titles of the guilds I didn't really pay attention to at all.
I can't read the font's weird.
The font is weird and the lettering is small. And I'm sitting over there and I'm 47, so I can't really, whatever. It's interesting. I like that the bonuses that when you become the master of an area, it flips, and then you get a bonus that's related to that guild. So like the ships, you often put, the blue one, you often put someone there.
The only thing that I would like
it makes sense.
to happen a little better is having the back sign be more color coordinated with the tiles.
Yes, sometimes it is. Like here's a red one and here's red and yellow.
Also the ones that are
you complained about this one. It's a blue, but
the ones that are cut in half should not be on cards that only have one.
Right, and I think
I get red.
The best that I can imagine, and I haven't really researched this too much. I'm a big history fan. You are too. You're getting more interested in this. I think maybe these might be the actual symbols from history that were used there. They may not be, and I can understand the confusion.
Or it could have been closely adapted.
Closely adapted, right.
But then, what would be your rating for this game?
I love this game.
And I think it was going to be a 10?
I'm pretty close. At a 2-player game, I like it a lot.
Like, what would you rate it as a 2-player?
At a 2-player, I'm about 8.
What?
Because there is random. I mean, you can't get away from the fact that the cards you get are going to be random. So you could either use them for the action, you could use them to recruit guys, you could use them to put out
Then
guys.
what would it be for 3-player? What should be the official rating?
For me, at 3 players,
Or
I'm close to a 10, but I'm going to say 9.5, just because I want the beetle to move a little bit more, and I don't know, maybe I'm being super picky, and maybe the lettering is too small. I mean, it's really hard. There's very few games that I give a perfect 10 to. Agra is a game I gave a perfect 10. Keeper is a game that I gave and I think that's a British game too, like this one. Gaia Project is another one that I gave a perfect 10 to. Bora Bora, I give a perfect 10 to. You know what?
That's 4 out of this.
Yeah, that we got like 200 something. You know what? I'm really close, but I'm probably going to stay at a
0.75?
9.5. I'm going to go 9.5. But it's a definite wonderful game. You know, the only thing and this is a personal thing. It's not that the game isn't a 10. For me, random cards, that's always where you could strategize and just be frustrated over randomness. But it's a different kind of game. Did your guy just kind of fly off? That's okay. Where are you after one play?
After one play,
You came in second place
I
in
came
the
in
game.
second place. I'm gonna do it based off of 3-player, and I can understand with 2-player. I can see how that would be detracted a little bit because it's like either you get it or I get it. Like I can just put
Or just sits there.
I can just put one guy there and I still get the thing.
Right.
It is.
I'm thinking that you're in the 8 to 8.5 region.
I gave it an 8.5.
8.5. So between my 9.5, your 8.5, we're at
Nine.
dead 9, and I think that's a wonderful rating for
Yes.
this game. I highly recommend, highly recommend Guilds of London. It's worth the effort to get involved and understand this game. Oh, you call it something else.
Guilds of Wondian.
Oh!